welcome back. Where I'm building a RANS S21. This is the second video on attaching the baffling to the engines. In the first video I ran into some complications because the engine casing for my engine, because I ordered it for constant speed prop, is different than the engine casing from other engines, and 95% of the buyers of S21s have not gone with constant speed. So I run into some research issues and things that people can't explain, but I worked through it. And then in this video I run into some of the similar things, again due to the engine casing being different. So I worked through it. There's also some areas where I edited out or deleted conversation about the manual. At this stage of the build, the manual gets vague at best, and there's some things you got to research and work through. And so I cut out some of my conversation about that, just because I want to keep this as a build video, and I didn't feel it added to the content. So there's some choppy areas in my editing, but it's a build video. So with that, let's get into putting the baffling on. My next step is to attach this support angle, which apparently attaches the side to the floor, and you custom cut it from some stock. Interestingly, it's clear on the right side, but I go over to the left side and it doesn't show that support angle, and the support angle material is not listed in the parts. I put a message out to the forum. The instructions do say fabricate angles, plural, and attach to each floor, so I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure it needs to go here, but I just confirmed it on the forum. I cut this support brace at an angle so it would fit, and then I trimmed it off here so it would fit, and used 3 number 30 holes. The RANS forum does confirm that I need these support angles on both sides. So this is the left side of the engine, and I've riveted it to the bottom. But at this point, the text manual just says to Cleco, so I've left these Clecos in to see why they're not having me rivet at this point. Also, there are 3 holes here that I'm assuming attached to a baffle, so I made sure this angle had a little space. I'm assuming something's going to have to attach here. The next thing I did was I attached this forward support bracket. You use the engine hardware, and then you retorque this to 96 pounds. What's interesting is it has a 3/16 hole in the front. The manual calls for a 1/8 rivet. That's clearly not going to take a 1/8 rivet. So I guess you can use a 3/16 AN bolt or a AAPQ 60 something large rivet. But we'll see when we get to attaching the front baffling. We'll see which way we'll go with that. Well, it looks like I've got another baffling problem. The shape of my engine casing, where this kind of comes up, this rise right here, is very different than other motors I've seen in videos. Most of them from this bolt come down, and this bracket is down here somewhere. And this shape of the casing is clearly very different than the shape of the baffling they've given me. So one, the baffling doesn't fit the shape. And 2, if the bottom of it is down here where it attaches, it's not even close to where this bracket is. So the baffling is different. The shape of the casing is different from other motors. Maybe it has something to do with a constant speed prop. And then if I come to my other side, I've got another set of mounting bolts here, as opposed to my mounting bracket. I don't know what goes here, but other motors don't have it in the pictures that I've seen. So I've got a message out to the forum and to RANS to figure out how we're going to work around that and figure out what goes here. I don't see anything in the manual that talks about anything mounting there. So more to come as I get more information. I'm going to start working on the aft baffle while I'm waiting for an answer on the front. They say to remove the oil dipstick. I haven't done that yet, but then to rivet the 4-inch upper duct plate, which is this large plastic part, and then several of the cylinder plates, barrel plates, etc. Those are these. You'll find them in your parts list. The only thing to watch for is it tells you to go to the, here it is, refer to the lubrication system for this. So you come over to the page further, you get the lubrication system, and up here is where you have that 4-inch ducting. They do tell you to use the red fire seal high temperature sealant when you rivet this on, and there are some small 1/8 washers that go on to these AVEX rivets. So it's just a matter of preparing this aft baffling with riveting on some of these parts. I finished riveting on this 4-inch air duct with the high temp sealant, the cylinder and barrel plates, and then there's a bracket. Where is it? There's a bracket that gets riveted on. And then the next thing is to bolt this onto the plane. There is one kind of confusing part. I've got these two cylinder plates with the number 2624. If I come over here, 2624 is number 17. It's called an outer barrel plate. But I come down here and there is no number 17. I come over here, number 14 is 2624, and there's a number 14 here on this side, but there's none on this side. So I've got two of them, and my understanding was if it's in the parts list, it should be on the parts diagram. It's indicating a number 17 for an outer barrel plate, but there's no place here to show where the outer barrel plate goes. So it looks like I've got a leftover outer barrel plate with no place to go with it. But I'll ask the forum again. I've been asking the forum a lot of questions about this baffling, so I'll get you an answer. In order to attach this baffling plate, you've got to take the dipstick out. You've got to cut the wire tie, take the dipstick out. Make sure you cover it up because you don't want to drop anything in there. You're going to have some problems. Then you've got a screw you've got to get back in here. And then you've got a small one here, which isn't a problem. But then you've got another one that goes back. Where's my finger? It goes back here. And it looks like I'm going to have to take this ignition plate off in order to get their screw. There's no way I can get back there without taking this ignition plate off. Okay, I did hear back from RANS. This apparently is also related to my constant speed prop. But either way, I'm going to work with their builders to kind of custom make some baffling for here. Apparently they don't have baffling for constant speed props. But that's okay. I don't mind working through it. But I'm going to work on the rear baffling. I've got this piece bolted on. The next thing it says is to make this flush, transfer drill, and rivet. And so I'm going to do that. My next step is to take this inner barrel plate. And remember, we put that mount on here, and I guess we go up in here, and it's tight to the cylinder, and then transfer drill and rivet. And that's going to wrap around that cylinder as well as these two. Okay, I've put on that last plate and bent them all around underneath. After you bend them, it's kind of a pain to get this on through all the gas pipe and everything, but you got to kind of work it in. But it goes on. I haven't tightened it tight because I have a feeling it may have to come off again, but I've got it in place and we'll move on the other side. The next step is to attach these cylinder and barrel plates to this baffling piece. This is the outside baffling, and this fits in here and then gets secured with some clamps, and you're gonna match drill, and also I think there's an angle brace that's gonna go in this side here. If you blow up the diagram and look at other builder videos, it looks like this bracket goes on the outside of this, and this piece gets pushed in, leaving space for that. There's a couple different places I thought that could go, but that appears to be the right place. And then it's just match drill and cleco for now. The manual says to take all this baffling off and then rivet the brace and then put it back and rivet it to the side. I saw another builder video, S21 project, where if you rivet this together, trying to get it all on and off is very difficult. So this inner baffling piece here, I don't see any reason this needs to come off. I can clean the holes up once I remove this. Then I'll get this bolted in bring this piece back after cleaning up the holes, and then rivet here, and then at this point it's telling you to do your final screw in, so I think I'll add the Loctite blue at this point, except this is a shear nut here, it doesn't get Loctite, but everything else should get Loctite. And I think then all this baffling is attached and screwed on. I've tightened down all the bolts and Loctite blued them for the aft side. I didn't rivet this just in case I have to take it off. I don't have to drill out rivets, so that I can do at the last minute. So all the way around, the aft is all bolted in. I remember to put this guy back in. These were all set. This guy down here was a little tough to reach, but I got him in there. So everything is bolted down and I think ready to go. But as I come over to the next section, it says transfer drill number 11 through aft support bracket. So I'm going to assume this aft support bracket is this aft ignition brace they're talking about. I've got my ignition plates fastened back on. I added these rubber grommets that were supposed to go in. I've got everything bolted down. And I think I've got everything on the aft all taken care of. That's all in place. Oh, I've got this support ignition bracket in. Rivet here, rivet here. Didn't call for a second rivet. I was going to put one in, but there's not much tension here. So I've got the 2 rivets in, bolting that down to the ignition plate. And all I think I have to do is figure out these front bafflings with this engine configuration, and I'm waiting to hear from RANS on some instructions as far as how high up it should be to the flywheel, and I'm assuming I have to create a new bracket that comes down and attaches. So after I hear from RANS, that's the last part of the baffling, and we'll move on with the engine mount. I heard back from RANS about these front baffles. What I need to do is I need to cut the baffling around this, just custom cut it. It needs to be, maybe an inch or so below the flywheel going across. I'm going to have to create a bracket coming down here off of this. This can't turn around because of the way this is shaped, but I'll just create a bracket coming down. I've cut the first one to give you an idea of what I'm doing. This is on the right side. So I've reshaped this. So when I lay it down, I don't know if you can see the camera angle, it fits right in here. This way, and then I've cut the support bracket. I put a little slice in it, so this will go under here. I'll rivet this in, and then this will rivet to that, and then we'll have a plate and rivet here, and it should all come together. So I'm moving forward with it. So I have riveted in this baffling, which I custom cut around this area here. But I still have it by taking this cleco out and these clecos out. I can take this whole piece out because I'm going to need to drill the center hole up here. And then on the other side, it was a little more complicated. I could not get these brackets on the inside, so I actually had the brackets out here, which I don't think is an issue. And I had to do a lot of custom cutting around this piece. Now, if I haven't mentioned before, this is for the constant speed gearbox, and I decided to not go constant speed. I'm not. After I ordered the engine 2 years ago, I've done a lot of research and watching other builder videos, and very few people with RANS 21s have gone constant speed. RANS doesn't really support it. There's some customization that has to be done that I wasn't aware of, in addition to the baffling, to the cowling and the spinner. There's just not a lot of builders have gone that route. And being a first-time builder, it was an option when I ordered it to go with the ground adjustable fixed pitch or constant speed. If I put this gearbox in here, I'd have a whole nother set of issues. So I am going fixed pitch for the motor. Therefore, I didn't need to worry about this plate, this cover-up plate, and I just worked my baffling around it. I still have to figure out this bracket. In the most of the engines, this bracket is not elevated like this. It's way down here. So I have to build some kind of a bracket to attach to these. Okay, what I've done is I've put just a straight brace down from this top bracket which has a 3/16 bolt in it, and I haven't tightened that down. I did retorque this to the 96 inch-pounds, so that's all set, unless I have to remove this and change it, but that's easy to redo. And I've left this loose, and I haven't riveted yet. I've left this as a cleco, just in case when I put the cowling on, if this doesn't clear, I can still take this apart. And I'm going to leave the clecos in here so I can take this baffling out if I need to rework it. So at this point, I'm done with the baffling per the left, right, forward, front, back. And we'll move forward from here with this to be finalized when I do the cowling work. Okay, that's probably a good place to stop it. Try and keep these videos under 20 minutes. That section of the build took me 24 hours even to complete. And that does not include a lot of research time. You know, you get to a certain part with this baffling issue, I'm on the computer, I'm questioning and taking time researching, watching other videos. So that's build time. So 24 hours build time. Project to date is 1096.7 hours. So getting up there. The next video, I put the engine mount on, install the oil cooler, and mount the engine. So that's a huge milestone. So I can't wait to get that content out. We'll get it out shortly. So once again, thanks for watching, and remember, dream it, just build it.